rather interesting instrument. This is a Blessing Scholastic student model trumpet. Not bad in my opinion. Certainly not the greatest, but also certainly not bad. Some interesting characteristics I've been noticing is it's got this sort of vintage style, like dual nub thing on the first and second valve slide. The second slide is cantered very far backwards, which I feel probably is the cause for some unnecessary resistance in the instrument. I don't really know for sure. The valve casings are. There's no, like, most trumpets, their valve casings get slightly wider up here. Not so with this. It's just, a straight cylinder. The valve caps are some of the smallest I have ever seen, and they've got an interesting pattern on them. So, yeah, just a number of strange features. A couple complaints in the mix. Slide action isn't great. That's mainly due to lack of maintenance, but there's no stop mechanism on the third valve slide. There wasn't intended to be one, seeing as there's no, I guess, there's no part that protrudes on the end of the slide there. It's just smooth, so you wouldn't be able to install a slide stopper on it. I don't know how to best explain that, but point is, the slide doesn't have anything to stop it. Not that it really needs anything because it's rather slow. Nothing on the first slide. That's a big gripe for me personally. I use my first slide a lot on, nice instruments. The water keys, I don't really like them. They don't seem to be forming too tight of a seal. That might be due to old corks. I don't really know. And the tuning slide has to be pulled out insanely far. I mean, I'm out this far on a relatively large mouthpiece, my Blessing 1.5C. I didn't want to use the 7C that came with it, so I just used my mouthpiece. But here's the deal with that. I'm still absurdly sharp in the upper register. That's an interesting feature of this trumpet, is it's very free blowing up there, but it's so sharp. Oh my gosh. The pitch is impossible to keep down on that G, I swear. High C as well. I'm basically actively fighting it to keep it down. That's not ideal. My friend had his slide pulled into about there. I don't know how he did it because it's so sharp, but whatever works for him in any case. Features I like. It's quite lightweight. It's got an adjustable third ring slide, as do a lot of student models. And the finger ring sits pretty tight in there. It doesn't, move around too freely. But yeah, lightweight construction. Looks fairly nice to me, minus the strange sort of anomalies I pointed out in the beginning. But yeah, I guess we'll do some more actual playing now. In my humble opinion, this would make a great jazz horn. The slots are pretty loose, so shakes work pretty well. It sort of doesn't slot well enough for my liking, but maybe that's what some jazz players are out there for. And the sound is really, really bright and piercing. I mean, it's really just harsh sounding. Sometimes that's a good thing. But yeah, vibrato's very free, and the horn does have a little bit more of a sensitive side. Again, slotting's not, in my opinion, good enough for solo work. I mean, some of the notes are just all over the place, and that G is just... I... No thanks. But it's fun to play nonetheless. So I suppose now is the point in the review when I test the extremes of the range, as I do with just about every instrument. Low range is pretty okay. Kind of foggy, but it's interesting. The slots feel foggy, but it's just super bright. As for high range, as I said, it's kind of free blowing, but the intonation is not good. The slots aren't good. I don't really know. Darn, it had a good double G sharp. I was expecting a good A. Nothing exceptional, but I think it's actually pretty good. Um, as I've been mentioning, slotting is not great, so big interval jumps in the upper register are really hard for me. So I wouldn't play Incredibles on this, but for a student model, it's pretty free blowing. Overall, the Blessing Scholastic is a lot of fun to play. Would I recommend it? Depends on how much it goes for. Yeah, it's probably worth around $500 in decent condition. I mean, this is okay. A couple dents, quite a bit of tarnish on the slides, but nothing too major. So it's a fun horn to play. You'll have to learn to be really accurate with your notes, and you'll have to be good at sort of keeping your tongue down in the upper register so that you don't end up with. You have to keep it down as much as possible, which is really hard for me at this stage, but it's quite a fun horn to play. Pretty good jazz horn in my opinion. So yeah, that was the Blessing Scholastic. Hope you enjoyed.